Good evening. I'd like to call the Glynn County Board of Education meeting for October the 12th to order, 6:01, and I'll take the invocation in place today. Please stand and bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another day in the Golden Isles. Thank you for our teachers, administrators, and staff. Thank you for looking over all of our students. Since we last met, I ask that you be with this board and look over us as we make the decisions that affect all the students of this community. We ask all these things in your precious name. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Good, thank you. All righty. This time I will turn it over to the spotlight on Glynn County with Mrs. Tate.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
19 educators in the Glynn County school system were recently named Teacher of the Year at their respective schools and will now be considered in the process that will select Glynn County's 2022-2023 Teacher of the Year. Tonight, Mrs. Wanda Shue is here to announce the school-level Teachers of the Year and our newly selected finalists.
Good evening, Superintendent Spence and board members as well as cabinet members. It is my honor and privilege tonight to congratulate all 19 of our Teachers of the Year who were named at their respective schools for the 22-23 school year. All 19 of these teachers bring a high level of expertise, passion, and commitment to our students of Glynn County as well as the greater community. At this time, I'd like to recognize each of these outstanding educators. Erica Grady, Brunswick High School. Paige Browning, Glynn Academy. Dana Carroll, Glynn Middle School. Melanie Weiss, Jane Macon Middle School. Waukesha Gant, Needwood Middle School. Danny Benton, Risley Middle School. Glanley Murray, Altama Elementary School. Stephanie Dunson, Burroughs Millette. Angela Keithcart, Glendale. Brett Baxter, Golden Isles Elementary. Samantha Hayes, Goodyear Elementary. Meade Herndon, Greer Elementary. Meg Mims, Oglethorpe Point Elementary. Amy Stewart, St. Simon's Elementary. Christy Robbins, Satilla Marsh Elementary. Gabriella Benton, Sterling Elementary. Madeline Carmichael, Faces, Leaps and Bounds. Joyce McClendon, Special Programs. Haley Meredith, GICA. Congratulations to all of you. Also, I wanted it to be known tonight that this past week our judges met to determine the 5 finalists who will now move on to the next phase in selecting the Glynn County District Teacher of the Year for 2022-2023 school year. These candidates will be observed and interviewed by a panel of judges over the coming weeks. On behalf of the Glynn County School District, we proudly salute each of these finalists and congratulate you on a job well done. Erica Grady, Brunswick High School. Paige Browning, Glynn Academy. Melanie Weiss, Jane Macon Middle School. Margaret Mims, Oglethorpe Point Elementary School. And Gabriella Benton, Sterling Elementary School. We will look forward to celebrating all 19 of our Teachers of the Year and naming the District Teacher of the Year on November 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, that brings us down to the Citizens Address of the Board. We have 2 people that have signed up. Before we get started, I'm going to read the preamble. The Board of Education has adopted a policy that permits citizens, under certain circumstances, to address the board on a variety of topics of general concern to the operations of our schools. We welcome visitors to board meetings and are interested in hearing from the taxpayers and patrons of our school system. We have a few simple rules for public comment. Each person wishing to address the board must sign this roster. Each person is limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment portion of the meeting will not exceed 30 minutes. Any citizen who has a specific complaint involving an employee must first address this issue with the superintendent, and if not resolved, then may request to speak with the board. However, certain matters involving personnel and students must be heard in closed session. The superintendent will inform you whether your complaint is one in which should be referred to an executive session with the board. By signing this sheet, you are agreeing to abide by these rules. First up is Mr. Sean Brown.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good evening, Sean.
It's been a while since I've seen y'all. I'm here to discuss a matter as a past SPLOSH representative for District 5. September the 16th and the 17th, we had 2 football games, and we had a tragedy with bad weather, rain, and we was blessed that neither one of our teams had major accident injuries from that weather of the field. I'm coming to ask y'all to move up on the agenda to get the stadium turf. We really need this field turf. We're one of the top stadiums in between Camden and Savannah, and it's sad that we're not turfed. I mean, it's injury prone, maintenance, less maintenance you don't have to worry about. I had the opportunity to go down to visit Camden's new turf field. If you get a chance, go down there and check it out. It's something that we'll be proud to have in Glynn County. And I'm asking y'all to move it up on the agenda, on the SPLOSH agenda, to get it done, because soon as football is over, we're going straight into soccer. And soccer put more damage on that field than football do. A lot of people don't believe that. And we have not just males playing soccer, but females playing soccer. And I think it would benefit all of them if we go turf, where less ankle twistings, knee injuries, maintenance on grass, watering, all that kind of, issues that we'll be saving. And I spoke with the athletic director, and it's not that I'm going behind his back or anything. I think he's doing a good job. Steve is doing an awesome job. On the 17th, he had Sea Island to come and do a roll on the field, to blow the field, just to get it prepared for a Glenn Academy game. And if we'd have had turf, we wouldn't have had to deal with all that. We wouldn't have had to deal with none of that. So I'm asking y'all, when you go into executive session, to think about it, to put it on the agenda to get the field turf. And it'll be a revenue for the athletic department to have that field turf, where college games could come in here. Because that's one reason why a lot of colleges don't want to come into our stadium, because 90% of the colleges now are in turf. And I feel if we go that route, we'll gain in the athletic department. So that I'm not here to fuss. Mr. Hose is sitting over there looking like I'm fit to fuss today. I'm not going to fuss. Everything is good. Y'all doing a good job.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean. All right, next up, we have Danita Rodriguez.
Can everyone hear me? Or is this like too, or no? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It was Daniela Rodriguez. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Daniela Rodriguez, and I'm the Executive Director of Migrant Equity Southeast, a nonprofit that advocates for immigrants in Southeast Georgia. I'm also an alumni of Glynn Academy High School, class of 2013. Today, I'm here on behalf of the immigrant community of Glynn County. I work with immigrant families who have children who attend elementary school, middle school, and high school in Glynn County. My sister has children who attend elementary school here in Brunswick. Unfortunately, a lot of these immigrant families cannot be here today due to work or because they don't speak English. Based on a lot of the conversations that I have with immigrant families, I can tell you this: they are concerned. They are concerned for the well-being of their children and how the Glynn County School Board is handling COVID. The majority of us believe that face masks should be mandated. I remember a few weeks ago, I was told that my nephew was not required to wear a mask to school, only in the school bus. I say to my family, there must be a mistake. Maybe the teacher is wrong. Maybe the teacher is not doing her job right. But how surprised I was when I went to the official school page and I saw that, in fact, children were not required to wear a mask to school. COVID is still here, and it's dangerous. I ask you to do your job. I ask you to do your job right and to protect our children from COVID and from getting sick. Please require masks to school. Protect our children. We will be watching. Listen to the people and listen to science. Thank you.
Thank you. Alrighty. That's the only two signed up today. So we'll move down to approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Mr. Holsey, second by Ms. Gibbons. All those in favor? I'm assuming Jerry's raising his hand on the phone, so it's going to be 6-0.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Yergin is, I told you where he was at. Okay. Brings us down to the consent agenda items. I would like to add 7, 8, 9A, all of B, 1, 2, and 3, C1, D1, D3, John, the policy, I know we had talked about that. Do we want to discuss that a little bit and then possibly table it, or?
If anybody has anything to discuss, we can, and if not, we can just put it on the consent
Okay,
to let it sit.
I'll consent unless somebody wants to pull it off.
Thank you.
Alrighty, hearing those, any additions or deletions? Hearing none, I will read over the consent agenda items. Number 7 is approval of the September 9th, 2021 work session meeting minutes. 8 is approval of the September 14th regular board meeting minutes. 9, under the superintendent's report, A is personnel, B is field trips, with 1 being the, BHS NJRTC, 2 being the BHS wrestling, and 3 is BHS wrestling 11-21. C1 is the Good report under the Facilities Committee. D under Finance Committee, 1 is approval of the report, the financial report June 2021. D3 is approval of the surplus furniture. And E1 is the policy authorized signature policy presented at the work session. So all these were talked about and linked at the work session. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved?
Moved by Mr. Medalla, second. Second by Ms. Gibbons. All those in favor?
Real quick, just
Oh.
D4 is not on there, right? Is that
D4 is not.
okay?
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. To approve the consent agenda items. That brings us down to the superintendent's report under.
Hold on one second.
No, yes.
Can I have that one point of privilege before we finish?
Yes,
It'll take but a
yeah,
minute.
I think we discussed this, so, go ahead.
Not a problem. As I promised when we spoke last time, that there were some people concerned about some of the legal issues, and they brought us a paper, a whole list of a lot of things. And in that list, we got our lawyers to review it, to meaning him and the state. And from the advice of them, there's nothing that we're doing illegal and nothing that we're doing wrong. So just to let the public know that we have addressed that issue, and it doesn't just go by the wayside like some people think. We actually do look at those issues. And the other issue is a personal issue, and it's masks. Everybody's kind of curious of how long I'm going to wear my mask. When we make it to single digits in the hospital, which is not going to be far, I predict it's next meeting, because we're at like 14 or 15 right now, bouncing around the teens, then I will remove my mask. And I have nothing against anybody who's wearing it or not wearing it because of whatever issues they may have or reasons they may have. The reason I'm wearing it is to respect my fellow medical professionals. So when we get to a single digit and I take it off, I'll feel comfortable with that, that's all. But thank you.
Yep, thank you, John. All righty, and that brings us to number 9, the superintendent's report. brings us down to D2, Dr. Spence.
Approval of purchase of pier deck. Ms. Preston is here to talk about it, and also I have Dr. Green if you have any questions on the
Okay.
program.
Were there any questions on it?
And like I said, I just wanted to pull this. I know we had some,
Oh.
there has a big dollar amount attached to it. I'd like to talk a little bit about it. From my understanding, this was just an add-on to the Google.
Classroom?
The classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a question that did come up was whether it was available to all students and staff, and I believe it says it is. So
Yes.
it's all the way through elementary. I think that was a question that we had in the work session.
Yes.
So, okay. So that's really the only question
Okay.
and that I had.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has a question. So I'm assuming the amount I have down here is $133,650, and that's for a 3-year,
That is correct.
which breaks down to $44,550 per year.
Yes.
And that's going to be CARES Act money.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Paying for that. Okay.
Here's Act 2.
Get back to. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase of the pier deck.
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the pier deck.
Okay, pier deck. All right. Ms. Gibbons, second, please.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sams. Any discussion on that?
I just have a question more
Okay.
about CARES Act real quick. I know it's probably a lot, but I'm sure you have a running total, but can we get, even if it's emailed to us,
Yeah.
the last couple of years, when we started getting it, how much we received, kind of what we spent it on?
Yep.
And just, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just spreadsheet or whatever,
Sure.
to show how much we received and what we spent it on.
Now, we've gotten about 12 to 13 different ones, but
Right.
a lot of little things
Sure.
here and there. Do you want all of them, or you just want the main big ones?
I-
1, 2,
Okay.
and 3.
Do you have it broken out?
Oh, yeah. I just gave a folder of it to somebody for open records, but yes.
If you want to just add it to next month's work session and have it kind of
We
talk
can do
about it a
that.
little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
That way it's open, I mean.
Let me say that the governor's office is creating a website where every school system has to put in the money they've received and how they're spending it. So it will be public knowledge and on the, actually it's the Georgia Department of Education.
Yeah, they're creating a dashboard on it.
Yeah, so, but we have that information and we can,
Yep, not a problem.
you know, you said something during the work session about, you know, we're spending a lot of money. We've got a lot of money and we have to spend it in a certain amount of time. So we're trying to be mindful that it's not going to be here forever. And we're trying not to put ourselves in a situation where 3 or 4 years from now, we're held to having to spend money that we don't have. So that's what we're
No,
trying.
I agree, and that's the issue with this,
Right.
with this money.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like,
With any grants that way, we deal with it all the time, grants, when they run out, what do you do?
Yeah. That's right.
we've never had grants of this size
Right.
to run out.
No.
I do know that.
Right. Any other questions?
There weren't any, just one more question, there weren't any like strings attached, where, I mean, I know that we have to spend it on certain things, right, but they
Yeah.
didn't say in order to get this money, you
No.
have to do these certain things, like wear a mask, or,
No.
you know, be at a certain level, or
They were all
anything.
subject to the normal federal guidelines that Title I has to
Right.
comply with.
Okay.
All the grants that we get,
Sure.
they were all subject to most of those rules. Some of the rules on the earlier grants were waived, but all that has to do with compliance issues of making sure you're not supplanting.
Sure,
So,
gotcha, thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, we have a first and second on the floor. All those in favor? Mr. Mansell? Aye. Motion passes
see
6-0.
All right, next we have utility vehicles for the SROs, and I'll let Ms. Preston review that.
so our SRO fleet is significantly old, and we're repairing most of those cars left and right. They're anywhere from 2006 to 2011 vehicles. And we wanted to surplus the older ones and buy 12 newer ones for our staff. Now, we talked at the work session about the June 2021 financial and how we saved money and got a lot of extra revenue through sales tax, car sales tax, refinancing. And so I moved $6 million over to the local capital projects fund for the buses that we've ordered, as well as for SRO vehicles, and we would like to refresh our maintenance fleet, which again also is getting very old and needing replacing. We haven't bought cars and maintenance trucks in a long time.
It's kind of funny when you're riding down the road, you see a truck coming, you're like, man, that's kind of rough looking, and you pass it.
Yeah,
It's got a crest on the side of it.
Yeah.
I do see that a lot. I'm like, dang, okay.
They keep
and
them
these
running,
are
though.
these are 2021 Explorers that were available through statewide contract. So we wanted to get these instead of the newer, the prices for the new ones since they are brand new and they're a year old.
I think this question was asked last time, so I hate to be redundant, but it's hard to hear sometimes when you're not, but they're fully, you're not gonna come to us next meeting and go, hey, they're not equipped with
They're all equipped.
another $500,000 of stuff we need to put on them.
Mike Blackerby Director Blackerby stepped up to the plate on that and really helped me out to spec these things out and did a fantastic job. And he said, what you want, and I try to make it as seamless as possible. They've actually got a package where you can order that vehicle already equipped, so I'm not trying to scramble here and there. I've got a few things to add to it, but it's not gonna be a ton to do it. We'll probably do that.
The stickers on the side, things like that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But
but they've come equipped, with the warning lights and everything already in them.
yeah,
And the state patrols had pretty good luck with those things. If they can't tear them up, I'm sure we'll be fine with that.
the college has been buying the Explorers too for their
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
So they're not, and I'm not law enforcement, so, but I'm just an average Joe, but I mean, generally SUVs are less efficient fuel-wise. I don't know why we need SUVs. We don't detain a lot of people. Is there
Their two options
is there an
are the
automobile, like a car that would be a better option? I'm just asking.
a V8 Charger, Dodge Charger.
No, not the Dodge Charger.
That's the other
That's the
option.
only other option.
That's the two options we were
But,
given.
so if that's the other
So-
option for what we're after though. You're talking about pursuit vehicles, right?
Yes,
Okay, so why do we need pursuit vehicles?
that's why we're going
That's
with the
what I'm gonna
Explorer.
Right.
Actually,
Okay,
Dr.
back-
Spence,
What prevents us from buying
Crown Vic.
Ford Tauruses or Crown Vics and putting the stickers?
they
on
don't make those
They don't
anymore.
make those anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so your answer on, what prevents us from buying a Ford model or a Chevy model car, or a Toyota, whatever you would call it? I've said for a long time, our SROs, for the most part, and I know we do a lot of athletic event stuff, but they drive from home to school and they should be on site for
Yeah.
8 or 9 or 10 hours, and that's just my opinion. They should be not pulled off very often. I've been saying this for years, but,
Well, it's my understanding that you have to be able to put that partition in, and there are no cars.
I'm trying to get a state accredited and with Georgia Chiefs Association. That's my goal before I retire and hand this over to somebody else. And in order to do that, you've got to meet certain guidelines. You just can't do that with the average car. And
Yeah.
cost-wise and operations-wise, they're about as cheap as anything or cheaper than stuff that's out there that's standard production. There's also been some litigation, even though we don't really operate like a standard police department would as often. But if there's an accident involved, and you don't have that officer in a police vehicle, there's been some, Mr. McDowell probably can relate this better than some, if you have just a standard vehicle, there's been some litigation out there, and I'd just rather avoid that. So, it says, pursuit on it, but we got the most basic model we can get. That's a title, that just means a police vehicle.
yeah, but when you say the other options, a Dodge Charger, which we all know, State Patrol has, Sheriff's
Yeah.
Department has, that sort of thing, those things are, driven by drug dealers and, those things are fast, and we all understand they're expensive. We all understand. I'm just talking about basic vehicles. We've driven cars for a long time, whether it be,
they'll last us.
bank maintenance or whatever else, but.
Those things will last us for years and years and years, the way we drive
Yeah,
them.
they
I'm
will.
not gonna vote for $500,000 for Explorers for the police. I appreciate what y'all do, and I think it's great that we've had SROs and able to pay for it, but I think there's probably more efficient ways we can spend that money or less. You tell me that a car would cost almost $40,000.
I'm telling you that when
Under
you
state contract.
start shopping it around, they're pretty cheap
What-
as far as.
That's fine.
Do you remember the prices on the Chargers?
Those Chargers, Dodge is proud of those things. They've gone up actually more than.
They were like
more than
32,
those
right?
things. Yeah, they're more expensive. Even the V6 model is more expensive.
Yeah.
Didn't you drive a city hand-me-down for a while?
I have driven
We've driven that for a long time.
Yeah.
Can't count it yet.
Just saying, it's,
Some of the ones we're surplusing are probably hand-me-downs.
if we have the opportunity to not do a hand-me-down once, kind of be a nice thing to do.
Well, we've only done that just, since I've been here, just twice over the years. So, most of
I'm
what I
not
got.
saying don't buy or rent or lease
No.
new cars. I'm not saying don't do that. But, how many arrests have we made this year in the school system? Or last year, how many arrests did we make? How many times did we put a person
Well,
on
they
back?
transport kids all the time.
I mean,
home or
you know, I
when they
mean,
get lost?
I can't quote you statistics every week, but we've arrested people in the last week,
Right, I understand.
you know, on warrants and stuff. I mean, we occasionally have to put them in there. and that's
Out of the
just a
school,
lot.
out of the school, or in the school system?
Yes. It's not an everyday thing.
So
but
students you're not helping out, you're saying you've had arrest warrants for students this week?
They served one, earlier this week, that was related to a fight that had happened a few weeks ago on an adult, rural age.
And again, I guess with proper planning, that sort of thing, I've got an arrest warrant for a student in Glynn Academy. We're gonna go pull them out of class at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Sheriff's Department, Glynn County, I don't know, can you be here with your vehicle to
We try to be
transport to juvenile detention or whatever, you know?
We try to be as self-sufficient as we can, and
I understand.
juvenile will call us, you know, I mean, we all want a police department, we try to stay in our lane, but we try to, you know, if, like a juvenile calls us and say they want us to do a pickup on a kid that's in our school system, you know, we transport them, we try to handle that and not burden the sheriff's office with what they've got going on, they're covered up right now.
I totally understand, and I'm not diminishing what you all do, for sure. I'm just trying to look at
I
the
understand,
financial piece of it, that's all.
I understand, completely.
And I recommend that we award the purchase to Wade Ford for $436,404 for 12.
That said, I
explorers.
make a motion, we award the $436,404 for the vehicles as
Motion.
presented.
Okay.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. Madela, second by Ms. Gibbons. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, I'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-1. All right.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. That brings us down to executive session. I don't believe we have any personnel,
I don't have
no
anything.
land, no legal. If we're not going in the back for any of these, we do need to approve the workers' comp case we discussed at the work session.
I move we approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Holsey, second by Ms. Gibbons to approve the workers' comp case discussed last week.
Students have a button over there.
And
We
all
planned
those
it
in favor?
before we got here before everybody. Talk about it.
Thank you.
You,
Count
Jerry?
my fingers.
All right, motion passes 6-0 to approve it. All righty, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
So
All right.
does this mean the policy will sit on the table for
Yeah.
30 days?
Yes.
And was everybody okay with the new verbiage? It got put out there late today.
You know, we did not go over that.
Yeah. If you'll just
it
read that
slipped my mind.
verbiage. You can read it now. Basically, what I did was took out the two signatures over 5,000, and I added the superintendent or designee other than the assistant superintendent of finance will review and approve check registers weekly. So if he's not here, he'll allow one of the other assistant superintendents to look at the check registers and review them.
That sounds good.
Okay.
So we're gonna let it sit for 30?
Sit
Okay.
there.
All right, 30 days. All right, that brings us back down to Mr. Mansell, made the motion to adjourn. Take a second.
Well, second.
All right, second by Mr. Madala. All those in favor? Aye. It is unanimous at 6:29, Ms. Pearl.